Welcome to Brett and Eric Discuss.
We did a video on Made in America where we discussed automobiles. Brett, I got a question for you. What constitutes an American car?
A few ways you can look at it. Is it a car that is actually made in America, made by an American company, versus being shipped to America?
So let me ask you this question then. Is a BMW made in South Carolina as American as a Chrysler made in Detroit?
I would say yes. Now, some people in Detroit may disagree, but yes, because both companies are actually, the corporate offices are in Europe.
Interesting.
Cars are assembled here. Parts are made here. Not 100% of the parts, but they're assembled here. They employ American families, and they're good for the American middle class.
That's right. So interesting. I've pulled up from cars.com. The most American car in America is actually the Jeep Cherokee, manufactured in Belvidere, Illinois. And that's a 2019. But Jeep is part of Chrysler-Fiat, right?
Correct.
And Chrysler-Fiat is based in Europe.
Based
But
in
it's
Italy.
manufactured in Illinois. So it's the most American content. Out of the next five, so the top six, how many are actually American nameplates? Meaning that the company is headquartered in America. It's traditionally seen as a domestic car, if you had to guess.
Individual models or corporations?
Individual models, the top six.
Oh, well, let's see. Camry's number one, and that's based out of Japan. Probably Honda Accord would be number two, based out of Japan as well. Not sure of the next four. What do you think?
Okay, well, these are sorted based on American content, so they're not necessarily the top selling vehicles. But what's interesting is the number one is the Jeep Cherokee for American content. Number two is actually a Honda Odyssey, a minivan, believe it or not. Number three is the Honda Ridgeline, which is a Honda Japanese company based in Japan, but made in the U.S. with American content and assembled in America, is the Honda Ridgeline, which is a pickup truck. The fourth, I guess, is the Honda Passport. So now Honda's got three of the top
Wow.
four for American content. Number five is a fantastic legacy American brand, American car made right here in America, and that is the Chevy Corvette made in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So that has a tremendously high American content as well. And then number six is actually an Acura, which Acura's parent company is Honda. So four of the top six in terms of American content, according to cars.com, are actually Hondas or Acuras, believe it or not.
That's
so isn't that
amazing.
phenomenal? Yeah.
Well, Honda has invested $20 billion in their U.S. plants and almost $6 billion in the last 5 years. And
Wow.
they employ 20,000 Americans. With
So Honda's a pretty American brand.
in a
in
lot
that
of ways,
respect.
a lot of ways it is. It's part of those
Yeah.
communities. You know, those communities
Yeah.
are Honda communities in America. And if it wasn't for Honda, those 20,000 people wouldn't be getting good paying jobs, and their families
Yeah.
wouldn't have what they have.
Yeah, and I understand from my experience living in Ohio and meeting a lot of people at the Marysville, Ohio plant, they are well respected as an organization. They treat their employees well. They're good stewards of resources. They're responsible corporate citizens in the community, etc. So, it may not be a quote unquote traditional American brand, but if they embrace our values and they respect our people and our communities, they should be welcomed, I think. And they bring good jobs. And I think you were talking earlier before we started the video about how some of the jobs that are here in America for foreign brands are actually resulting in exports, right? Like we have
Correct.
foreign brands manufactured here, exporting to the rest of the world. So those are bringing jobs to America to supply goods to other parts of the world.
Yeah, for example, BMW down in Spartanburg, South Carolina, 70% of what they manufacture, they export to 125 different global markets.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they make the X model.
Yeah, they're SUVs. Yep.
Yeah, SUVs, and those are wanted around the world, but they're made here. So 49% of what they make is sold here in the United States, but 70% overall is actually shipped overseas.
Wow. So BMW is creating an export business for American factory workers.
Correct.
Wow. A lot of people wouldn't.
You wouldn't think of that, but that is great for American families, and that's what's important is for American families. They wouldn't have those jobs if those cars were manufactured in another country and we just imported them. So it's really an interesting, I just think the world's gotten so complex over the decades.
It's gotten smaller, really, right? Like, it's really a global community that we live in now.
Yes, even the Chevy plant in Ohio, I remember reading that they were waiting on parts coming in from China to finish the assembly here in Ohio, in the heartland for a Chevy. You can't get more American than a Chevy made in the heartland.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so, well, I tell you, the good thing about the automotive industry is that it's highly, highly regulated. Well, maybe the automotive manufacturers don't think that's a good thing, but because of those regulations, there's a lot of information available about the manufacturers, the locations, the content that goes into the car, things like that. So as a consumer, it's an easy product to buy if you're looking to be analytical and find a lot of information about your purchase, right? It may not always be easy to make a decision. Sometimes I struggle with that, but it's easy to find the information needed to make the decision, right?
Correct. And I think we should hear from people. Give us some feedback. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's a good point.
This is an emotional topic. I remember my wife was telling me that when she had a Mazda RX-7 back in the 70s driving through Detroit, someone threw an egg at her car.
Yeah.
And now these Japanese companies are employing Americans.
Right.
And really anchoring cities, and helping out the tax base and the community and things for the kids. And it gets complex and the emotions run high. So let's hear what folks have to say. Yeah,
good point. If you enjoyed this episode, please click subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let us know if you have any other thoughts. Brett, any additional thoughts on the auto industry before we sign off today?
Well, it's a good American industry, and I think it's great if it's employing Americans, and if the badge is a foreign badge, but it's made by Americans for Americans here in America, that's great.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching Brett and Eric discuss. We hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give us the thumbs up.
If you have any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment down below.
Also, if you haven't already subscribed yet, please do so.
Next to that subscribe button is a notification bell. If you like these videos, ring that bell.